I always have a massive to-do list of books that I want to read. Now, this is due for a few reasons, one of which is that there's a lot of new material coming out, or I'm discovering old material, my horizons are broadening, or I just have a backlog of things that I haven't gotten to in some cases for decades. And I'm constantly aware, I think, of the gaps and the holes and the edges and the additional stuff I would like to make the time to read. There's only so much time. I'm a busy person. I'm a father. I have a full-time job. I have other interests that are not just this. And I can only fit in a certain amount of reading time. And I have wondered if, as I come in and I talk about the things I talk about in this series, if I'm coming across like I think I know everything, I've read everything, and I very much don't. And so let's cover this today, and this might be first in the series, because I have scores of books on the to-do list that I haven't gotten to, and some of which I can't get to for extensive periods of time. So what we're going to do today is 6 books on my reading list. And this is to show just a set, kind of a sample of the kinds of things that I'm still trying to get to and read. And I'm going to hold them up and I'm going to talk about kind of why they're on my reading list. The other thing I should say for this exercise is I am not counting rereading things that I have read before ever in my life. So, there's stuff that I've read decades ago that I don't really remember. I mean, I know what it's about kind of at a high level, but I don't remember it acutely. For instance, within the last 2 years, I reread Calvino's Invisible Cities, and I remembered Invisible Cities. I remembered it well, but sitting down and rereading the whole thing was a great experience, and it had been a long time since I had previously read Invisible Cities. And so rereading is absolutely valuable and it's important, and that just adds to the backlog even further. So, these are some books that are in my backlog now. Let's hit them in no particular order. Actually, in the order of they're stacked with the biggest ones, physically biggest ones on the bottom. And so let's start with The 100 Brothers by Donald Antrim. I am actually partway through this one. I am reading this one right now. There's my bookmark. And The 100 Brothers is this kind of chaotic, irrealistic novel about these 100 brothers who have gathered together in this vast library, in the vast house that they seem to own. And there's a plurality of personalities and voices, and it's all sort of going in a direction of chaos. I'm unconvinced that they're ever going to get done the thing that they assembled together to do, because not only do they not seem to be making any progress on it, but it almost seems counterproductive, like they're getting worse and worse and more tied up and wrapped up in other things that are not going to help them get to their objective. So I feel like this is probably a study in sort of, first of all, a plurality of voices. There's an identity thing going on because they are all brothers, but they're all very different in various different ways, and so they're kind of reflections of each other. There is, of course, the library trope and motif, which you see a lot, right, for what are obvious reasons. And I think at the end of the day, it's distinctly possible that this book looks like it's turning out to be a skein, a tangled knot. And the skein, the tangled knot, is one of the things that we do see postmodernists building. We haven't gotten to an episode on that. Why am I reading this? I was intrigued. It came recommended by a friend who reads interesting stuff. And that caused me to look into it. And I read a little bit about it and said, heck, that looks like fun. And so I got it and I started getting through it, and it is absolutely fun. So that's item number 1. Second one off again. I have dozens, scores of these, so I just took 6, and I tried to kind of spread them out over what they are. Numbers in the Dark and Other Stories by Italo Calvino. So I just talked earlier today about Italo Calvino. He is one of my favorite authors of all time, and so much of what he wrote is so great. Invisible Cities and Cosmic Comics and If on a Winter's Night, A Traveler, and The Cloven Viscount, and so much of what he wrote is just so amazing and so great. Castle of Cross Destinies, and so we have to, all of these books, these fully formed works, are wonderful and amazing and influential. But he also published a lot of short stories, and I have to admit, I'm very bad on his short stories. Like, I'm not sure I've ever read any of his short stories at all. And so this book is my chance to see what a short story from Italo Calvino looks like. And I would love to sit. I'm tempted to sit and read them right now, but I can't, because if I don't focus on things, then I don't get through things, right? And so Numbers in the Dark, short stories by Italo Calvino, it's sitting there on the list, ready to go. Now the next one, so Calvino is in one of my 10 Titans. Someone else is in one of my 10 Titans is Alan Moore. And I've talked about how amazing Alan Moore's comic book work is, especially Watchmen and Tom Strong. I've talked about how amazing his book Jerusalem is, which is absolutely amazing. This is the novel before Jerusalem. This is I'm pretty sure, the first prose novel that Alan Moore published. And it's called Voice of the Fire. It, in some ways, feels like it's one of these multiple voices things. I think in some ways it feels perhaps like Sound and the Fury or Rashomon, which is you're getting different voices and they're all kind of driving forward the same story and giving you different visibility on that story. But I can't tell you that for sure because I haven't read it. So it's sitting there. I'd love to read it. I love Alan Moore. I hear good things about it. It's well reviewed. I'm sure it is a great book. To get there, it has to compete with other things that want to be read instead. And so it's sitting in the queue. Now, this one is maybe a little embarrassing. I'm going to say it, but I'm just going to come out with it. So At Swim Two Birds by Flann O'Brien, which is deemed to be, is reputed to be a great metafictional novel. And I love me a good metafiction. I have never read this book. I've been aware of this book for more than half my life. And I've just never gotten to the point where I am reading it. But I know I'll love it. And I know I've got to. And everyone loved it. It's a great, important metafictional novel. Like, I got to read this book. Right? But I feel that way about many books. So this is on the list. This is something I really want to get to. I want to read At Swim to Two Birds and kind of fill in that empty spot in my knowledge and what I've read. Robert Coover, another one of my titans of postmodernism. If I'm making it seem like I have a comprehensive, digestion of everything Robert Coover wrote under my belt, I don't. He was very prolific. He wrote lots of novels. And, in addition to this, I could list some other ones I haven't read. Pinocchio in Venice, Gerald's Party, John's Wife, Lucky Pierre. These are all books that I have and have not had a chance to sit and read. This one, Huck Out West, is probably the next one on my list. Huck Out West is a sequel to The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So this is a very Robert Coover concept in many ways. And I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with the concept of Huck Wynn, who presumably, based on the title, goes out west. So I'd love to dig into that. I can't wait to dig into that and see what Coover has done with that. Now, this last one, I'm real excited. Like everything on this list, I'm real excited to read. This last one, I'm real excited to read. This is Bats of the Republic. And Bats of the Republic is part of this kind of new breed of book where I previously had an episode, my What is Concrete Prose, where I talked about that. This kind of book, books like Backs to the Republic, I have to figure out a name for it, are kind of like concrete prose on steroids. It's where the entirety of every page is itself considered and put together as an image. And because of 4-color print and computer-created print, we are able to do things that are very different from mere typographic play. And we've got colors, we have images, we have many things along those lines. Bats of the Republic is also interesting in that there's a little envelope in the back that says "Do not open." I have not opened it. I may open it somewhere along the line. I'm sure I'm going to be keenly curious what it is. It's got diagrams and things like this. I think there are pages in here that fold out if I can find them. I'm not sure of that, but I think there are actually fold-out pages. So there's a lot going on here. And this is an interesting book, and I would be keenly interested in learning what this author, Zachary Thomas Dodson, has done with the potential for this kind of print form factor. So I'm eager to read Bats of the Republic. The problem is I'm eager to read these other 5 books here and a whole bunch of other ones, including a whole lot of stuff that's aching to be reread. And so when you put all of that together, that's the challenge. I will probably return to this again, but those are 6 books on my reading list.